Bonjour tout le monde. Hope everybody had a nice fall break and that you are re-energized and ready to push through a couple more weeks before Thanksgiving. Aujourd'hui, c'est lundi, le 8 novembre, et voici l'emploi du temps, your schedule, your checklist pour la semaine. As you can see, pretty standard stuff for your graded work. Deux discussions, une traduction from Le Monstre that we created 2 weeks ago, flip, grid, or meet, une infographie. So this is something that's a little bit different this week. We're going to be talking about les phobies, which you can probably figure out means phobias or things that we're afraid of. We are going to be looking at une infographie, which in English is an infographic, a word you may or may not be familiar with. An infographic is a usually one page, maybe a couple pages, but usually very succinct document that has as the name kind of implies, information and graphics. So it has little bits of information along with images that help you to understand that information. And as you can imagine, learning a new language, small pieces of text and images to go along with it is a great way to get some reading comprehension in. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this Amphography together. This is going to be Wednesday, and we are going to answer a few questions about it, see how well you can use the information on the Amphography to answer some comprehension questions. Oops. We have une nouvelle histoire qui s'appelle Closet Space. It's actually a little movie talk, so we'll be watching a short film that goes along with it, and I'll be narrating en français. You'll be taking a quiz on Closet Space this week. You'll be doing a quick write, which I will talk more about later this week because I know that I had you do one 2 weeks ago, but didn't have any place for you to upload it, so I will explain that later on. And then your kind of optional weekly check-in and Muzzy. We have a new TPR with a few new gestures this week. And our song of the week is an actual song, not just a learning song, but an actual pop song. Okay, alors, aujourd'hui dans l'histoire, we're going to just practice today, not have a discussion. I have a weekend talk for you. Les gestes, like I said, there are a couple new ones, so you can practice with the video. La chanson de la semaine, et la traduction du monstre. Le mot de passe cette semaine, c'est désolé. Désolé. I'm sorry. Désolé. A, make sure you put that into your cahier. Pardon, not sure why I'm yawning too much today. But make sure you put it in after j'ai peur. Aujourd'hui c'est lundi le 8 novembre, la journée du sandwich. La journée du sandwich. It is sandwich day. Et la journée du sandwich is not a French thing per se, but if you take a look at this sandwich that we have here, this is maybe a little bit different than what you would expect to see as a sandwich in the US. We often make our sandwiches with sub bread or just kind of white bread. Our bread is usually softer. This, as you can see, is made with une baguette that has a nice crispy exterior, but probably a chewy interior. And it's made with some sliced, this is probably Gruyere cheese, which is like what we would call Swiss cheese, essentially. Some ham, du jambon, et des cornichons, which are those little tiny pickles that you can see in the pickle aisle if you go to the grocery store. But those are very popular in France. In fact, like regular pickles that we see like at delis here in the US are not particularly popular in France, but the little teeny ones are. So this is an example of un sandwich. Sandwiches in France tend to be pretty simple. You might have jambon beurre, so ham with some butter, or something a little more like this with a few different ingredients. I've seen sandwiches that are just camembert, so like a soft cheese that's sliced in between two halves of a baguette, and you eat it like that. So those are some examples of what you see in France as un sandwich. Et voici deux questions à considérer. Est-ce qu'un hot dog est un sandwich? Oui ou non? Est-ce qu'un hamburger est un sandwich? Oui ou non? Est-ce qu'un sandwich, quelle est la définition d'un sandwich? C'est froid, cold, always cold ingredients? Or can those ingredients be chaud? Can they be warm ingredients, hot? So un hot dog or an hamburger would fall into those categories. Okay, voila, just something to consider. Your weekend talk this week, very similar to previous weeks, but as you've seen before, we have some new questions and new answer options. So we have, qu'est-ce que tu as acheté ce weekend? Acheté. What did you buy? Est-ce que tu as fait du shopping ce weekend? So, j'ai acheté des vêtements. J'ai acheté de la nourriture, un donut, un hamburger, une salade. Well, this is actually probably more like a bowl of noodles, but des macarons, cookies, du poulet, chicken. I can't see all these very well, but la nourriture is just food in general. J'ai acheté des chaussures. J'ai acheté un appareil électronique, un nouveau téléphone, un nouvel ordinateur, computer, une nouvelle tablette. J'ai acheté un livre. Ou je n'ai rien acheté. Je n'ai rien acheté. So you'll be asked to use this in your Flipgrid. But for now, as the instructions say, go ahead and make a text box with your name and put it in the appropriate area of the slide for what you did, what you bought this weekend. Les gestes, la classe met, put something somewhere. La classe entend, you hear something. Et la classe voit, we see something, voit. Okay, la classe met, la classe entend, et la classe voit. We're going to see those verbs, met, entend, voit, in our story this week. Et quelques nouvelles couleurs. La classe touche le noir. La classe touche le blanc. Et la classe touche le vert. La chanson de la semaine this week is called Près des Étoiles, and it's an actual pop song in French. You don't have to do anything with it. I just want you to listen, enjoy. It's a pretty catchy song, I think. Et la traduction this week is from Le Monstre that we created a couple weeks ago and essentially did like special person stuff with it. So if you look at your stories from last week, you have the write and discuss. So you'll just be translating that as usual. And there are your links to submit it. Okay, merci, au revoir.